Hopefully you guys are all keeping warm out there. Time of this recording, February 15th. I don't think we'll get to above zero today. Snowing outside. Hopefully we get this done before the rolling blackouts turn out our lights. So we're going to do a Facebook Live, kind of a quick little tip for the week. Talk to you guys about running dynamics. I've kind of talked about it before, especially I have a Garmin device, I have my Phoenix 6. And I have a run pod, or you can do with some of the HRM straps. It captures running dynamics, and a lot of people either aren't really aware, or they are aware and they don't really know what to do with it, or don't know what it could be good for. So I'm sharing a few of the different running dynamics and possibly what you could do with them if you want to look into them for your workouts. I believe you can look on Garmin Connect and see if your workouts, see what the balances are and all the times are and all this stuff. So we're going to go over ground contact time balance. So there's ground contact time, how much time you spend on the ground, and then they dice it up to which side are you spending more time on, either your left or your right. So this is going to be interesting as we go through. It gives you a little bit of insight kind of on your running gait. So it's measured with the running dynamic sensors, so you have to have like a run pod, not a foot pod, run pod for Garmin. I believe Stride will get there, maybe. I don't have one, so if it does, put it in the comments. And some of the HRM straps, like I said, for Garmin, will capture this information. You either wear on your chest or you wear the run pod on your waistband and back. So that captures all this information, so you have it for your workout. And then what it is the balance between the right and the left foot ground contact time. So what they do is it measures the symmetry as you run, and it's a percentage greater than 50%, and it shows a little left or right arrow depending on the left or right side of your foot, or left or right side of your body that you're spending more time on the ground with. So maybe if your natural gait is you spend a little bit more time on the ground than the right, than the left, you're a little bit quicker on the left, for whatever reason, nobody's symmetric down the middle of their body. So just, the structure of your body is going to lead a little bit to that. Kind of injury, you got other things going on. We'll kind of dig into that. But so it's points to which side you spend more than 50% of the time on. So, if you're 45% on the left and you're, 55%, quick math, on the right, then it's going to point over to the right because you spend more time on the ground on the right side. So if it's perfect, it'll be a 50-50 split with no arrow. Otherwise, it'll show, hopefully it's like a 51-49 or something. Similar to, if you have power meters and you have pedals, it shows you on each side how much you're spending power on. If you're a little bit more to the right or to the left balance, if you're right-footed, usually you'll spend a little bit more power on the right foot for the bike, and same probably said for the run. So obviously you prefer to be as symmetric as possible, just so you don't introduce stresses into your body. It could be things like one leg's a little bit longer than the other one, like most people. I have one foot that is a size smaller than the other foot. So I have to be careful with that when I get shoes, that you're comfortable in one foot and you're not crammed in the other foot. So it causes problems, and it'll show if you're not if you're not symmetric in your run form. And like I said, if it's a percentage of 2%, 3% difference, probably not that big of a deal. But if you're getting a 5-10% difference, it could be an indication that we need to look into it a little bit further. So it could really show up on hills where you're really pounding the quads, especially going downhill when you're landing on them. Speed work, if you're really pushing really hard, that could show up in there too. It could be really exacerbated by that. And it could just show up if you're really fatigued on one side. You got some, maybe one calf is tighter than the other after runs or workouts. It's maybe something you could dig into and kind of look at the contact time balance between legs to say, hey, I'm spending more time on my right leg, so maybe I need to, just video myself run and see if maybe there's a little bit of a hitch. Maybe it leads to going to a chiropractor to get some balance, or it goes to physical therapy or a sports physician or something like that to get some physical therapy. If you got something a little bit tight, or you got something coming up you don't really know and feel, but they say, hey, you've got, and we notice you got some extra cramps and other knots in your muscles, and even if you go to a massage therapist and get some art and active release therapy, maybe it'll loosen up. So then that contact time balance can tell you if you've got some problems going on. Especially, I know I'm horrible when I sit at my desk and do work. I lean to the right or to the left. So if you're doing that all day at a desk and you go out and run, it's probably going to show up. So it could be an indicator you need to do some stretching, you need to get up and walk more often. need to sit more ergonomic if you're at a desk, or me at my dining room table up in there upstairs. So that could be an indicator too. So if you don't address it and it's severe, you know, if you're looking at 4, 5, 6, 10% in time balance difference, you could be looking at, you know, it could cause some major injuries, you know, and it could be chronic injuries that you're just like, every once in a while my foot acts up or something like that. It could be an indicator of you've got a balance issue and maybe you need to run analysis. I got 2 that I'm going to do right after this video for different athletes. Just look at the videos and just see, you know, you can see like pelvic tilt and everything like that to see if maybe they're dipping their hips on one side more than another. Maybe they've just got an old injury. Maybe that's just the way they've run over time. It's just ingrained. I mean, you look at Lionel Sanders, he's got like this little hitch in his giddy up, and there's no real injury. There's no real reason why. It's just the way he runs. So if it's not addressed, like I said, it could lead to major injury. So that's a big key. That's, I think, one of the things. I don't think it's something to sit there and drill down on every time, but it's kind of good over time just to look at. If you feel a naggle or a niggle or something like that, and you're just like, just, you know, the right leg is something's going on. If you've got a run pot or if you've got an 8-turn strap, go back and see if you're capturing this data. So then you can see if you're spending more time to your left or your right. Kind of gives you a good indicator. It's like, oh, well, it's not just a random injury. It's an injury that's caused by an asymmetry in my run because I'm spending 10% more time on my right foot than my left foot. So if you're really dipping the hip and spending more time on there and you're really dipping down, you're spending too much time on one side than the other, it could definitely cause overuse injuries. You know, it's the same with the bike. It's the same with the swim and your strokes. If you spend more time doing things wrong on one side than the other and more impact, it could cause problems later down the road. So that's my quick tip for this cold Monday here in Kansas City. I don't think we'll get to 0 degrees. I think right now it's a -30 wind chill. It's snowing. And like I said, we're hunkering down. They're getting ready to do rolling blackouts in the neighborhood. So hopefully you guys are all staying out there and staying warm. And happy training out there. Hopefully you have your indoor pain caves to get all this done while this crazy Arctic winter weather is flying by. So we'll talk to you guys later.